there is a chill in the air. Winter has arrived. It might be getting cold and windy outside, but that's no reason to hibernate until spring. There is a renaissance taking place in the sport of ice fishing that is totally revolutionizing the way people think about ice fishing. It's all new, it's all fun, and it's inspiring many to get out and enjoy winter. Join Tom Zanenko, author, lecturer, and tournament champion as he shows you the modern ice fishing revolution on Vexilar's Ice Fishing Today. Ice Fishing Today is a unique program linked to the World Wide Web, allowing you to learn even more ice fishing secrets that will double your fishing success. Don't go away. An exciting edition of Ice Fishing Today is coming your way.
Well, the action's about to get started. Let me get a little background here. There's been months and weeks of practice and preparation ready for the Frankies Minnesota State Panfish Championship. Some of the best panfish anglers from the entire Midwest are here today to prove their skills at this tournament on Chisago Lakes. Now, this morning at about 5:30, everyone gathered together and all of the individual rigs were inspected to make sure everything was properly flagged and marked so we could see who the competitors were out there. And then at 6:30, they are safely caravanned off to the different areas of the lake. This particular tournament is going to be highlighted by some of the best anglers there are out there, and the competition is extremely intense. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You can use ATVs, snowmobiles, and there's even a team that's out walking actually to the various destinations that they would have picked out. For safety's sake, what we do is that Frankie's had roads plowed to strategic areas around the lake, allowing anglers to move freely without having to worry about getting stuck. To do that correctly and safely, they're being caravanned down a trail to where they want, to the areas they want to fish, and when they're within a 90-degree angle from their spot, they can break off the road at that point. They're all drawn numbers. They drew numbers randomly out of a hat as to their starting positions in this long line. So the teams are all set up in all different shapes and sizes, and we're going to get a chance to see how they're all rigged out later in the day. But I tell you, the intensity, the amount of effort that has gone into the preparation for this tournament is simply amazing, because these guys really put their heart and soul into it. And really, although there's money involved, it's not about the money. It's about the prestige of being what many people consider the best panfish angler in the entire Midwest. One of those guys, or one of these teams, will win that title. It's going to be a great event. Stick around. More from Ice Fishing Today and Frankie's at the Minnesota State Panfish Championships right after this.
A Vexilar is responsible for more fish being caught than any other piece of equipment you could buy.
You know what? Fishing lures and gadgets have come and gone over the last 60 years. But Vexilar's mission statement has been true, helping anglers catch more fish.
Vexilar is the gold standard in sonar performance and reliability in flasher sonar technology.
Your ice fishing adventure begins and ends with a Vexilar by your side.
Happy 60th, Vexilar!
Lines are down. The tournament has begun. The anglers are now found the spot to fish on Chisago Lake. You know, this is a massive lake, but it appears that there's one area on the very south end of the lake that all of the anglers have focused on. A shallow 7.5, 8 foot flat with sporadic weeds, and the fish seem to be spread out over a large area. Now, if you stand here and watch, you'll see anglers pulling up fish left and right. The sheer numbers of fish being caught today would astound most anglers, but to these guys, it's a normal course of business. These guys are serious ice anglers. They travel all over the Midwest, catching everything from giant perch to giant crappies to giant sunfish. They're testing their skills and their experience here on a unique fishery, because it's a shallow water with some of the best anglers going. Is it the bait? Is it the size of the bait? The color of the bait? Do you use bait or artificials? These anglers have tried to unlock this challenge here at the Minnesota State Panfish Championships. Some are using electronics. Some find electronics are not necessary in this super shallow water. They're using long rod sticks. Just watching how these anglers fish is truly amazing, and the speed of which they fish is amazing as well. Anytime you're in a situation like this where the competition is so fierce, You can't hear a word. That's right. These guys are stealth fishermen. They use electric drills so they don't make hardly any noise. And there's literally hundreds of holes drilled all around me right now that these guys go hopping from hole to hole. But they don't make a sound if they can help it. They make little signals to their partners. This is a team event. Now they have to be within 30 steps of their team partner, and they can't be within 20 steps of another competitor, so you can't push in on them if they're catching fish. They're fishing fast, they're fishing hard, and even though the wind is starting to come up and it's actually quite sharp out, and the temperature could numb your fingers very quickly, these guys don't slow down for a second. This is tournament pan fishing on the ice at its very best. The morning workout the way you planned?
No, not yet. We still got to get quite a few pailfish yet. We got a few gills maybe that'll work, and maybe a few crappies, but we got, I would say, six and six to go yet.
Now, what pound test line are you guys using as your fish?
2 or 3.
Really, that light? Of course, I suppose you needed to use that.
I have a rod at home that has 1 pound. Here's a crappie.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Here we go. Wow, is all I can say is wow. In competition, when you can catch.
That's a beauty. Actually, that's probably one of the biggest gills I've ever caught. Really throw it.
This is a solid 9-inch crappie, a bluegill. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think one of the most enjoyable parts about this event is, one, getting to meet some of the best panfish anglers in the Midwest. That's great. But I love looking how they've tricked out all their machines. Snowmobiles, ATVs, track vehicles. You see, you cannot fish this event out of a car or a pickup truck. You have to either go by foot, ATV, or snowmobile. And so what they have learned is they've tricked out these machines to have all the necessary gadgets to hold augers, for example, to box all their Vexilars and all their equipment. This particular setup has a phenomenal rear storage compartment, and everything can be packed inside. It's all self-contained. Really, when you stop and think about it, ice fishing is an outdoor event, and when you have a lot of snow and wind going on the lake, a lot of times not having your stuff enclosed means it gets dumped on with snow and you have to thaw it out later when you get home. This particular setup is nice because it's a giant enclosed case where everything can fit into it very nicely. But as you can see, there's lots of different configurations of how people have tricked out their sleds or ATVs to hold their buckets, to hold their electronics, to hold their rods and reels. It's truly amazing how innovative ice fishermen are. But then again, when you study a fish hole all day long, you got a lot of things to think about if the fish aren't biting. And how to trick out your machine is one of the great things to do. For this event, anglers will be fishing from 7 a.m. to 12 noon, and they must be back to the starting point at 12 o'clock sharp or risk penalties. The tournament rules are strictly enforced here, and over a dozen officials roam the ice and watching anglers as they fish to be sure no one is breaking any of the rules. After 5 hours of intense competition, the anglers need to bring to the scales 8 sunfish and 8 crappies, and culling of their catch is not permitted. This means anglers need to have a good idea in advance what a keeper fish should weigh. In fact, most weigh almost all of their fish right when they are caught to make sure that they don't misjudge a fish and throw back the fish that could cost them the whole tournament. While the anglers wait in line to check in their catch, there are stories of missed fish at the hole and the stories of the wrong fish being thrown back by mistake, of course. But in the end, the winners will need to make the right decisions to take home the honors of first place and $6,000 in cash. The unique way the weigh-in is conducted makes the weigh-in a fun event to attend. Once the anglers present their fish to the tournament officials on the ice, the catch is placed into a sealed container. When all the anglers are checked in, the containers are then transported back to the tournament weigh-in headquarters at Frankies Live Bait and Marine in Chisago City, which is only about a mile away from the lake. In the warmth of a great facility, hundreds can now watch the scales and cheer on the anglers for a great effort. still ice fishing with the old heavy gas augers? Tired of having to wash your hands because they smell like gasoline? Or sweating too much while you're cranking on the old hand auger? Check out this revolutionary product. It's called the K-Drill, and it's lightweight. It's only 9 pounds, and it's specifically designed for your cordless, brushless drill. It's got a heavy-duty aluminum shaft and a tool steel design blade that's going to change the way you ice fish. Hole hop around, look for those hungry fish, or reopen some old holes. Check out the K-Drill.
Here are the results of the top 10 teams for the 2019 event. Frankie Dusanka, the host of the Minnesota State Panfish Championships, and Mr. Ice Fishing himself, Dave Gens, presented the checks and prizes on stage for the winners of this prestigious event. If you want to learn to be a better ice angler, this event is it. Some of the very best from all around the Midwest eagerly share their techniques. Now for this tournament, 56 teams participated. Some were fathers with their son or daughter. Wives outfished their husbands. Even anglers with limited mobility took part in this event because ice fishing at this level is all about concentration, technique, and location. Remember, with these anglers, it's not about the number of fish you catch, but the number of the right ones that can bring up your overall average. The weights shown here are for a limit of 16 fish total, 8 sunfish and 8 crappie. While the actual fishing time for this event was only 5 hours, the average contestant pre-fished for at least 3 days, and many fished the tournament waters on and off for weeks just to find the right pattern or location to give them that extra ounce of weight. Over $20,000 in cash and prizes will be given away at this one-day event, with many anglers winning consolation prizes provided by sponsors like Vexilar and Clam. And just as predicted, this was a hard-fought competition, with the differences in weight from 10th place to 1st place being less than 1 pound. The big winners for the 2019 Minnesota State Panfish Championships are Vexilar pros Tad Westerman and Lawrence Loma, who proudly hold their winning check of $6,000. If you'd like to attend a weigh-in or sign up to actually fish the prestigious Minnesota State Panfish Championship, you can learn more from Frankies Live Bait and Marine, and their website is frankiesboats.com.